Hello everybody and welcome to Out of Body 31 Days of Halloween. If you haven't noticed, I've got my little 31 over here. I'm all decked out in my Halloween stuff, so I am ready for this month. So if you don't already know what 31 Days of Halloween means for this channel, it means that I will be uploading a new spooky video every single day during this month. So some days it might be a video like this where I'm on camera, and other days it'll be a creepypasta narration. So I won't upload in any sort of pattern, it'll just be a surprise every day as to what you get. So to start off this month, the first story I'm going to be telling you guys is the first of what I'm going to be calling my Haunted Memphis series. So if you don't already know, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and there are supposedly a lot of haunted places around here. So in this series, I'm going to be profiling a new haunted location in every video. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about Voodoo Village. Now, even just the title of that sounds really creepy. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to insert this into this video. Upon later research, after I recorded this initial video, I actually found a book in my local bookstore called Haunted Memphis. And I didn't even know that. I swear I didn't copy this because I didn't even know there was a book called that. So anyway, I found a little bit more information about this location in Memphis. So I wanted to insert that in here. So be sure to watch this video to the very end because I will insert some more in-depth information that I found in this book. And let me tell you, there's some even stranger things that I found in here that I could not find online. So be sure to watch it to the end if you want to hear the bonus material on this particular haunted location in Memphis, and enjoy the video. So Voodoo Village is basically this little tucked away area of town. It's a little neighborhood that surrounds this dead-end street. I don't know the exact whereabouts of where this neighborhood is. I didn't really want to seek that out online since it is a neighborhood, it is people's homes. So this area originates back in the 1950s. So the man who started it all is named Wash Harris, and apparently a lot of people called him Doc. So he was a self-proclaimed Baptist minister, and at some point he started to put up some interesting things in his yard, and that's kind of what started all of this. So I will put some photos up on this side, or this probably over here. Basically, he started to put up some statues and he started to make this kind of wooden art, I guess is what they call it now. It was basically just different pieces of wood painted to make something or to make a building. A lot of the things he made and hung up in his yard were some sort of symbols, and some people thought it was like witchcraft or voodoo. There were even reports of him having like dead animals hanging from the trees or shrunken heads and things like that. None of which have really been confirmed. That's just hearsay, but still, as you can see from the pictures, kind of creepy. So most of the symbols in his yard were representative of the Masonic kind of belief, like Freemasons, which I don't know a whole lot about that type of belief or religion or whatever that is, but supposedly he was a Baptist. He also had like statues of Mary and Jesus. He had a cross in the yard too, but as you can see, I'll put a picture over here, it had nails coming out of it, like all over it, which is weird. But y'all want to find a seat? So supposedly the reasoning for all of these objects in his yard was to actually cleanse the space and to keep out negative energies or just negativity in general, which in looking at some of the objects in these pictures, in my opinion, it seems like it would do the opposite. So I think that's another reason why people tend to think that it was what he said was a front and that it wasn't true. Who really knows at this point? He's passed away, but his grandson is alive, and his grandson actually lives there now. So there is someone living at the property. There are still people living in the homes close to the property, although I know that some of the homes in that area are abandoned, or at least they look abandoned. They may not actually be abandoned. They look really, really run down, and I'll just insert as many photos as I can over here. I mean, as you can see, it just looks creepy. Supposedly, Mr. Harris, or Doc Harris, was some sort of psychic, or kind of a self-proclaimed prophet, I guess. So with that being said, people apparently from all over the world would come to him to sit with him and have him read them or help them with whatever. I couldn't find a whole lot about that specifically, but I did find some cases online where some people did that and then they came back and told people about what was in his house, which was a little bit creepier than what's outside his house. Who knows if any of that's true? It might be just they made it up just to get some attention. Who knows? But nonetheless, it's creepy. So he built onto his house and this place where people would come and visit him. He called St. Peter's Temple. So it was kind of this add-on onto his house, I believe. And he made it into this church or temple type thing, and it was supposed to be a center for spiritual healing. So inside that St. Peter's Temple, supposedly there was like this altar and like skulls and things, like real animal skulls, and there was like a statue of Jesus that had blood all over it, and like crosses everywhere and crucifixes everywhere, and just all these random kind of objects. Again, who knows if that's really true, but given the outside, I could imagine, what the inside looks like, since, that's something that the public hasn't seen. So that is basically what the Voodoo Village is. It got that name based on the urban legend that kind of formed since the 50s. So according to the urban legend, if you go to the Voodoo Village at night, meaning if you go down that dead-end street and you go all the way to the end and then you turn around and start to come out, that you won't be able to leave. Supposedly people get captured or they won't be able to get out. The street will be blocked by a bus all of a sudden, or blocked by a tow truck or something. Another part of the legend says that as soon as you drive into the dead-end street, that your car will shut off randomly. Apparently some teens had that happen when they tried to go down that street. Also, some people have experienced going down that street and then being chased away with people with baseball bats, which sounds kind of funny to think about, but I guess it's better than guns. There is a first-hand account of someone talking about what is in the temple, that and also some things that some of the neighbors had witnessed and talked about. So I will read for you what it says about what is inside the they call it a compound, but what is inside that temple and the compound. So it says, inside the homemade temple was covered with crosses, hearts and sunbursts, and filled with small lights, candles, and voodoo dolls. An 8-foot candle, a giant figure with outstretched arms, often described as a thunderbird with horns, something with a huge propeller, fans, spindles, spinners, stars, and crescent moons perched on poles, supposedly not shrunken heads as legend had it, according to this person, a set of wheels connected by a crosscut saw, painted stumps, towering crosses, African pygmy masks, and a statue of Jesus holding a Bible with a dagger through it, as well as a dagger through his hand. It also says, according to what some neighbors that were nearby, the villagers, or the people that lived in this compound, burned bonfires and chanted in tongues on the occasion of full moons, and the eyes of Jesus glowed on that statue while blood dripped from the dagger. All of this was accompanied by a half-dozen junk cars. So it says here, and it kind of makes you think, those junk cars that were found back there, are they cars from people who had driven down that street and then got captured? Who knows? Where did all those cars come from? It almost seems like maybe some of the people that drove down that road never came back. So that's kind of the legend. And I tried to find some videos on YouTube of people going down the street, and there are a few. I will link them down below so you guys can see. I don't know if I will put them in this video or not. Another fellow YouTuber did a video on this place during the day at one point, and he showed this fence, and he wasn't able to go down the street like other people said that they could. He was able to get some footage around the Voodoo Village, and he actually took some drone footage above the houses so you could see up from above. So I will link that video down below because that was really helpful to me. It was a very well done video of a big YouTuber on here that does a lot of travels like that and goes to abandoned places. So yeah, I have never been there. Personally, I don't know that I ever would because supposedly it's very, very unsafe. Somebody like me would not want to go there, especially at night. I probably wouldn't even go during the day, but I don't know. Let me know, you guys, if you would want me to do that. Maybe I'll grab some friends and do that one day. We'll see. Let me know. But that is basically the story. Yes, it is very creepy. It's kind of eerie to know that that's in the city that I live in. You know, something like that. And it's like, what's really going on there? You know, what are they doing? Who knows? But it's just this little area tucked away and protected, and nobody's allowed to go down there. Nobody knows what happens, so I guess if we have some missing persons, we'll know what's going on. Okay, so welcome to the bonus material of this video. I'm going to go through some additional things that I found in this book called Haunted Memphis about the Voodoo Village that I thought was significant enough to insert here at the end. So, the first of those things is that allegedly, people have also reported seeing the ghosts of human and animal sacrifices. So apparently, people say that there was humans and animals that were sacrificed in some sort of rituals in this voodoo village, and that they've seen the ghosts of those beings. People have also supposedly seen walking dead, so I guess like zombies, bizarre rituals, like I said already, various forms of black magic as well. So that's another little tidbit of creepiness, just to make it even worse than it already is. So an additional thing, more in detail about what Doc Harris did as far as his spiritual healing for people. Apparently when people would come to him for the spiritual healing, before he would do anything to help them, he would tell them to go away for 2 weeks and take these baths, like just regular bath, 3 times a week at the same time each day that you do it. Basically what this was supposed to do was to wash your soul and cleanse your spirit, and you were supposed to include certain ingredients in the bath water, such as a cup of salt, a half gallon of red vinegar, a small box of baking soda, and 1 cup of graveyard dirt. Yes, graveyard dirt. Not any regular kind of dirt that you find in your backyard, but specifically dirt from a graveyard. Now, how that is supposed to help cleanse your spirit, I have no idea, but that's what people were told, apparently. And after that, once the patient would return back to him after the 2 weeks of doing these cleansing baths, they were then told to continue doing the baths, still using graveyard dirt, but this time the dirt has to come from the middle of a grave. So before, when he said just graveyard dirt, I guess you could have just grabbed dirt from anywhere in a graveyard, but now specifically you're supposed to grab graveyard dirt from the middle of someone's grave, which that's kind of disrespectful, obviously, on someone's grave to just start digging. The other tidbit on that is that you couldn't just dig a little bit of dirt, you had to dig a half a foot deep and grab dirt from there. Now, the patient was also reminded to refill the hole, so that's nice. Yeah, patch up that hole there. So yeah, I thought that was very, very bizarre, and I couldn't find anything like that online, so when I read that in this book, I was just like, what? So that alone is creepy enough. Again, maybe, you know, he was completely innocent and completely had good intentions with all of this. I don't necessarily doubt that, but it's still a little different, let's just say. So inside the St. Peter's Temple, another thing I wanted to add that I found in here is that I mentioned earlier that there was supposedly animal skulls and crosses and different signs and symbols inside the temple, but another person, or people, I guess, apparently said that the temple was also filled with dolls illuminated by tiny electric lights. And I will insert a picture somewhere over here. There's a picture in this book that I hadn't found online. I hadn't seen before until I got this book. But it's a picture of like the top of the St. Peter's Temple, and it has dolls encased in these boxes. So like these glass, like there's wood boxes with glass panes on the front of it so you can see the doll, but they're just encased in these boxes and kind of hung or built up around the top of the temple. Yeah, which is creepy. So, yeah, if it wasn't bad enough, I just made it worse for you. So another thing about that temple is that apparently there were 60 people who attended the services at that temple, I guess every week or something. I didn't realize it was that many people. I figured that just him and maybe a few neighbors and friends would come. But apparently, at least in the 1960s, it was reported that about 60 members would attend, and they would wear satin robes and caps. So another thing I wanted to add that I found in here is that apparently Doc Harris had gotten in trouble with the law a little bit once information about this voodoo village came to light and people started to find out about it and to try to discover it. He actually got in trouble with the law a couple of times. The first time he was fined $100 because he was practicing healing arts without a license. So I guess even back then you had to have a license, like a business license or something, before you could, perform spiritual healing and get money from it. He was again fined for the exact same thing in 1967. So the initial time was in 1961, and then 6 years later, he was fined for the same thing again. So apparently, he never did get his license, or he did and it got expired. I don't know. Now, there's a couple more things that he was charged with that are kind of disturbing. The first one is in 1969. He was arrested and charged with violating the age of consent with a 14-year-old girl. And that's all it says. So I don't know if that means that she came to him for his services, spiritual services, and he served her, without getting like official legal consent because she's obviously a minor. I assume that's what it means, although it does kind of beg to question, like, was there something else going on between him and her? I don't know. Maybe not, but either way, that's a little bit freaky that he would even, spend time alone as a grown man with a 14-year-old girl that he doesn't know without her parents knowing or without consent of the legalities and everything. Like, that's a little creepy. Like, why would you not do that? Even back then, like, yeah. The other case is in 1970 where he actually was charged with negligence and medical malpractice in a circuit court following the death of an 18-year-old boy whom apparently he had been treating for some stomach problems. So he was treating him for the stomach problems, and then the boy died. So he was actually charged in court for negligence based on that. So, I don't know if there's anything further on that. I might have to research that more. But again, like most of these things, I don't think it's really available online. I think whoever wrote this book, she did her research and actually went to different people and got the information in the records. And it says that after these incidents happened, that's when he became a little bit more secretive about it and put the fence up and didn't let just anybody in. So that kind of tells you, in my opinion, when something happens like that and something comes to light that you did wrong, and then all of a sudden you become secretive and quiet about it, to me that says you're guilty. But maybe not. That may not be the case, but a lot of times if something comes out about someone and then all of a sudden they shut down, they recluse, and they become quiet, that usually means they are guilty. So that's just my thoughts on that one. Now the last thing I will leave you with is a interview that the Commercial Appeal did with him in 1984, where he actually did come out with a statement. So I assume upon them asking him, you know, what have you got to say about this village that you've built, this temple and all of this, what do you have to say in response to that? He stated, "It is the work of one man, and don't nobody know what it means but me. People are always coming here trying to get me to talk about it, but I don't discuss it with anyone. If I give it away, what have I got?" So I'll just leave you with that. So I don't know what that means, if that's like, I don't know, that's very mysterious. I don't know if that's some kind of a spiritual thing that he's trying to hide and he wants to hold on to, he doesn't want anyone to know about for fear of it being taken away. You know, it could be something innocent, you know, that he just doesn't want to talk about, or it could be something that's kind of off and maybe not a good thing, something kind of dark or just bad or wrong in general, you know, that he's engaging in. He knows that he would get in trouble if he talked about it, you know. Who knows? I mean, with this story, it's kind of all allegations, but no doubt it is a little bit freaky. So yeah, that is the end of this bonus material. If you got to the end of this, congratulations, because this is going to be a long video. So anyway, that is the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to be doing many more videos this month in this series for Haunted Memphis. So I've got many more locations coming up that I'm going to talk about. And again, all these locations I'm going to talk about, I have not personally been to yet, but I plan to sometime in the future. So let me know with these videos if these places I talk about, if you would like to see me go there and actually film it and give you my thoughts, just let me know. Give us a like, and that will let me know that you want me to do that. Otherwise, stay tuned for my video that's coming out tomorrow, which you won't know what that is. It's a surprise. Thanks you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and you guys have a great night or day, whatever time you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!